Well, folks, we're back now. Still got less than another hour before the first NFL football game of the 2019 NFL football season starts. There's actually sounds like two games on. The first one is Green Bay versus Chicago. Now, the second one I don't remember both teams that are playing, but it's really late at night tonight. It looks like I think they said Oakland and I'm not sure which. I'm not sure who the other team is that's playing in the really late second game to start the 2019 NFL football season. NFL football season late tonight. Um, but so um, I decided to do another vlog and video just because I just thought I would just briefly share and bring in with you that you know things around here, you know, in my end, I wouldn't say that, there's certain situations where there's like exactly too many rules or regulations, but, um, the past couple of years, even before I decided to start YouTubing, you know, you know, you've heard some indications based on a good bit of stuff that I've talked about in a good bit in at least one or a couple of my at least one or a couple of my videos, maybe even a few of my videos throughout the year this year. How you know the the past couple, even almost past few years, even before I had decided to start YouTubing, even before I started YouTube, even even before even before even before even even before even 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 before even even before even before even before even before I decided to start even before I started YouTubing and decided to start YouTubing, when I had some things kind of fall apart and come apart a good bit, you know, like, um, first thing I'll kind of maybe bring you all in on a little bit is, up until this point, me and my dad have been, up until now, and last year I think pretty much had to be where the road had ended with this, and pretty much end of an era, pretty much actually. The two of us going to Buffalo Bills game and stuff. Up until now, we've been going once a year, but starting this year, we'll either have to just kind of, try and seek out and find another way of that, or maybe even just take a year off. I mean, we'll try to avoid that, but we'll try to avoid that. But if we have to take a year off, we'll deal with what we have to deal with. I mean, we can still go to certain places where they got the NFL football Sunday ticket, like Malton Ember at like the relatively new Malton Ember over at Moloch Grease Ridge, and I think Bar Louie also at Moloch Grease Ridge is doing it again this year. But we'll see what we can do with perhaps going to a Bills game and going to a Buffalo Bills game, going to a Buffalo Bills game in another way. But so I may have told you in one or a couple of my videos, maybe maybe I haven't, but a few months before before I decided to start YouTubing, before I had started YouTubing, um, well over a year ago, my dad had ended up going and having some knee surgery on his right knee. You know, back when he was a kid, he used to play a lot of athletics, mostly soccer and stuff. Um, uh, and so a good bit of it probably has to do with a lot of the athletics he used to do many years ago, back when he was a kid, back when he was in school, back when he was in high school. Another thing he did also have too is something what we call, maybe you've heard of this before, maybe you haven't. I don't know if maybe some of you have heard of something called phlebitis. He had a point where, a good bit of his right leg and right knee was kind of, starting to, cause him a good bit of pain and stuff. And then a few weeks later, or a month later, a couple months later, when he had went and visited his doctor, and stuff had indicated that he had this thing called phlebitis. And finally, things got to a point where, things had decided it was time to go for some, what was time to go for a pretty substantial surgery and stuff. And so, well over a year ago, few months before YouTube, few months before I decided to start YouTubing, few months before I had started YouTubing and stuff, he ended up going away and going out of going out of town to a place somewhere in Pennsylvania to have his knee surgery. Um, uh, so it did make a good bit of a difference to a certain extent, but the phlebitis, it's reduced it a little bit, but not all the way. So, my dad can still do stuff like go and walk around at places like a week ago, like we did a week ago last Thursday, a week ago today, last Thursday, walked around at Hamlin Beach State Park for a little while, and weather permitting, weather dependent, 2 weeks from Monday, doing our traditional fall Western New York tour. One other time in 9 holes of golf at Terry Hills Golf Course in Batavia. Then maybe going and grabbing a bite to eat at a place that's got my name on it. Maybe some of you from here in Rochester have heard of a place called Alex's Place. Um, uh, grabbing a bite to eat for some lunch or late lunch there, and then making brief pit stop at US side of Niagara. So he can still do stuff like walking around and stuff in the flat areas, but stadiums going up and down so many stairs is getting to be a good bit too tough for him. So that's why I'm saying that, last year might have had to be where the road had ended with the two of us going to the Buffalo Bills game and stuff. So, he had said, you at least continue to go to Bills games, maybe with, maybe one or a couple people from your house. Well, one thing I did become aware of, a while back, well, not a while back, but a while ago, was one of our other group homes, the one that I had did Darien Lake trip with end of June and stuff. One of their boys is a pretty big time Philadelphia Eagles fan, and the Buffalo Bills this year are playing Philadelphia Eagles at home at at new at new at New Era at New Era Field on Sunday the 27th of October. So people had threw the idea of maybe perhaps tagging along for that. Well, I did kind of give, the group home, the name of the group home is called Scarlet Maple. I may have told you that in one or a couple of my other videos I did soon after doing Darien Lake trip with them end of June. Um, and so their head manager right now has been out ill. So, but their head manager would be the one that would have maybe not all the answers, but a good bit of the answers to stuff. But so I guess for today what was said was stuff would just need to kind of be looked into based on how many other people are planning to go, and if the vehicle that they got for the day will have enough space based on the number of people that that are already on their list for going and stuff, and if they can maybe, if need be, get a second vehicle, you know, if I really wish to try and tag along. the day that they go, if it can even work out. Who knows if, if if people here would, who knows how it would be, trying to work out going with myself and one of the other consumers here, and one of our other people that currently work here, one of our staff people that currently work here. um, you know I'm just sort of under the impression that would be kind of a little touchy, just because of a lot of the big stuff that I've already done, that I had already that I've already done throughout the course of 2019 here, and all the big stuff it ended up doing, all summer, all summer and stuff. I mean, could be wrong, you know. So we'll see where that all goes. It's been a solid good number of years, good many years of us going to the Buffalo Bills game at least once a year. We'll see. We'll see if we can even work anything out for getting there again this year. If we have to deal with taking a year off, we'll try and cope with that, and we'll try and suck it up with that. Maybe not, maybe not, but we'll see where that all goes. And then the second thing, so I did a couple brief vlogs on this, just last week, a week ago. How and I did this in at least one or a couple. Well, I think just one, maybe a couple of my videos earlier this year, when I did termination story on Wegmans from well over a year ago, almost a year and a half ago. When I did termination story, the two termination story vlogs earlier this year and stuff, about you know issues had with going to TC Hooligans 2 years ago, before YouTube, well before I decided to start YouTubing, well before I started YouTubing and stuff. You know, and I do still go there, with I do still try and work out going there every once in a while with one of our people from here, you know, so at least have some supervision and stuff. Um, you know, and it's now been a couple months since last went there with one of our staff, since last went there with one of our current staff people that's currently working here, since that's currently working here at the place. And of course, um, and I had talked to my mom a good bit about some of this stuff, and of course, you know, like, nothing wrong with seeing what we can do with working out, maybe going to TC Hooligans with one of our other people that currently work here, someday kind of soon. It's just, it's still stuff anybody's got to plan ahead for, obviously. Excuse me. Um, and you know, um, I had asked my mom, when my 35th birthday comes in just a couple more months, in another 2 months, I just asked her, quote, there wouldn't be anything wrong with me, like, maybe going, if I wish to go to TC Hooligans with somebody for, like, one of my birthday dinners and stuff. And of course my mom said no, and of course my mom said no, there's definitely nothing wrong with that. That would be totally fine. That would be just fine. That would be just fine. So um uh so um you know people would understand stuff like that for sure. It's just to kind of going there excessively. Plus, a lot of the people that, when it was still at the mall, had been going there almost all the time for a while it was still at the mall, before they left the mall and went to their new location, where old famous Dave's location used to be a long time ago. A lot of people say that now that they're not at the mall, anymore, they don't really go really quite as often as they used to TC Hooligans. So they're kind of in the same boat a little bit. But going going every once in a while, with one of our people that currently work here, as long as we can plan far enough ahead, and even going with somebody for like one of my birthday meals when my 35th birthday comes in a couple more months, in just a couple more months. They would understand. They would understand. They would understand stuff like that. It's been well over a year and a half, even almost getting closer to almost 2 years since we had the issues with the lies and giving people false information about going to this place, but the real deal going to TC Hooligans and stuff. All that stuff is all calmed down and gone away, all in all, for the most part, gone away. you know and then again, worked out with new phone that we give everything a fair shot and give it all a whirl, even though it is one of many that does have camera icon and camera app. So far doing just fine with that. It is kind of like one of a little bit of little baby steps towards stuff, regaining people's trust again. um and I know, and backtracking the TC Hooligan stuff, I know I've told people before about perhaps wishing to go with one of our people here maybe once a month. And we've mostly done it on a weekend day, but people had said maybe like if you tried sometimes also trying going during the week, like during the day when everybody else is at their workshop program and stuff, and there'd be a little bit more leeway, certain days. And I said, well, I mean, still go on some weekend days sometimes. And then people say, yeah, as long as you're at least not making it so much of a habit, obviously. you know like like what they mean is like not trying to like go back to our own ways so much. And and just understanding that you ain't got to go there every time that Sam's, every time that Sam's working, or every time Joe's working. I'm just using names like that as an example. You know, um, you know, got to kind of open yourself up a little bit. You know, if you at least want to get there more often, like once a month, sometimes it's in best interest to be it's in best interest to be a little bit more flexible with doing it sometimes during the week, like during the day when a good bit of the other consumers here at their day programs or workshop programs, as long as when there's fair enough leeway and stuff. And then the past few years, the past several years almost for birthday, I've done birthday tradition of going to US side of Niagara Falls. And last year, I think I've talked with you about that and mentioned that in at least one or a couple of my videos. I think at least one of my videos, one of my kind of recent videos. And I probably, as of now, wish to try and do that again this year. Last year, for 34th birthday, ended up going just for the day. That's probably how we would do it again for this year for 35th birthday. Probably going just for the day. Probably wouldn't be right on the day of birthday. Maybe like day or couple, maybe more like couple of days before, couple of days prior, maybe. You know, last year we did it the day before. And when I had said that to my mom, and mom said, you know, let's let people know, and we could do what we can to work stuff out with that. The moral of the story is around here, again, I've said this in at least one or I think more so like a couple of my videos. Staffing right now is not completely weak, but it is kind of weak a little bit. Not just here, but throughout a good bit of the agency.